Hey guys, Seth from Misfit Athletics here. We're going to jump right into what to expect for post-open cycle 2. So instead of dragging this out with a long podcast, I want to just become as direct with you guys as possible. Whether you finished the open and didn't qualify for regionals, if that was the case, you probably did post-open cycle 1. If you did make it to regionals and didn't quite get to the games, that would mean you're probably jumping back in on post-open cycle 2. So the overwhelming majority of you guys are meeting back together at this point in time of the year for training. So I want to make sure everyone's on the same page. And in post-open cycle 2, like last year, we're going to do things a little differently this year as well. It's a little unconventional compared to what the rest of the season will look like for you. So we're going to jump into what lifting is going to look like. And we are going to go back into powerlifting again. Same thing we did last year at this time. We're going to focus on the box squat, which means wider stance. The depth is a little different. You're going to set up your box at right about parallel, maybe a little under, but not super deep. It's going to allow you to overload your squat a little bit this time of year. Sumo deadlifting. So instead of the traditional pulling style, we're going to go really wide feet with those toes pointed out. Keep that torso upright. And we're going to work on the sumo deadlift. Just like always, we want you guys to be in control of the reps. No bouncing, none of that. We also are going to mix up bench press and strict press. So you'll be alternating through that each week. It's not a coincidence that after regionals came out and put bench press in that we're putting this back in. We had this last year, but again, we want to make sure we hit it this time of year to just get you guys that base moving forward in case it becomes a regular test, which I don't necessarily foresee, but you never know. So plan on a lot of powerlifting. We'll be posting tip videos. And of course, if you need more help from that, we kind of partner with the guys over at Super Training, Mark Bell. He made some videos for us that we'll be posting for you guys to help you out if it's something that you're not that comfortable with. But a lot of powerlifting for the next 6 to 8 weeks. It's a lot of fun. People find it to be a good switch from the traditional back squat, front squat, all the stuff that we do the rest of the year. So make sure you have fun with it. Get your buddies involved. It's always nice to have spotters. Make it a group effort. As far as Olympic lifting goes, we're gonna have a mix of full squat, Olympic lifting, which you'll find in complexes, and then power cleans, push jerks, power snatch, things like that. That'll just be percentage work. Nothing really crazy about that. I just summed it up in about 2 sentences, so that's what you can expect for Olympic lifting this cycle. One thing that is brand new for this cycle, for this year, is a whole extra section or category. We're calling it strength accessory. Cycle 1 each year is typically building that base of strength to carry on to cycle 2, cycle 3, and then into open prep. We're actually starting a little earlier, so the strength accessory will be things like sandbag squats and holds, RDLs, strict pushing and pulling gymnastics, pause work with overhead squat and front squat, so you'll be pausing at the bottom, less about weight, more about positions and getting some good stability. Good mornings, GHRs, lunges, the list goes on and on. These will be to supplement your powerlifting and your Olympic lifting, so they'll be basically a secondary strength piece, which is a little less taxing, but I think will be hugely helpful for building that base, especially going into cycle 1, where we'll go back to the more traditional Olympic style lifts and the really heavy back squats for percentage work. So that's a whole extra kind of strength component that we're adding in this year to hopefully keep your joints healthier and stronger and more stable, and hopefully be able to kind of withstand some of the higher volume lifting that you will see moving forward throughout the year. And that's about it for the strength stuff. Conditioning, pretty straightforward, nothing crazy here. A lot of the classic CrossFit-ish type Metcons that you would always expect. 1 day a week, you will see a strongman Metcon thrown in there. So again, kind of sticking with that powerlifting strength bias in this cycle. You'll have a day where you get some yoke work, some farmer's carries, things like that built into a Metcon. A lot of people have fun with that stuff, and it's a good time of year to throw that in, I think, especially during the summer. People like getting hot, sweaty, moving heavy shit. So should be fun for everybody. And lastly, the interval work. This cycle will be mostly bitch work and bitch gymnastics. You'll find a mix of also 1 day a week of long interval bitch work. So talking 1K rows to 2K rows to 800 meter runs, maybe even mile repeats, things like that, longer on the endurance side. You'll also find 1 day a week of straight up sprinting work, and that can be on machines or actually running sprints. And that'll be typically what you see each week in the interval work. Nothing super complicated, really straightforward conditioning, and that's about it. So that's post-open cycle 2 in a nutshell. Of course, we'll keep shooting content, put as much information out there as we can as we get it for you guys. Make sure you check out all the videos, check out the articles, check out anything we're putting out that will help and relate to the training. It is a fairly long 7-week cycle before the games ends and we jump into cycle 1 for the year. So take advantage of this time of year, have fun with it. Don't go beating yourself up, but hit the things that will help you most before we kick off cycle 1 in late August, early September. So have fun this summer, guys. As always, if you have questions, reach out and we'll do our best to help you all along the way. So until next time.